Just 10 cents a day helps fund local programs like Scenic Stops, Northwest Ohio Journal, and BGSU Brain Game. Watch, connect, explore.
My name is John Thies. I've been a potter now for 39, 40 years. I'm 56, and I started when I was 15. You can do the math, right? In high school, I was in sports, heavily into sports, into a lot of trouble on the side, and I found the art room, and I found a fantastic friend, teacher, who nourished us through that program. And I graduated from high school wanting to do nothing but make pottery.
My name is Tiffany Hyland, and I'm John's partner here at the pottery. And my primary role is helping with classes, helping him with firing the kiln, loading the kiln, and I do my own work here at the studio as well. I am actually not a potter by trade. It started out as a hobby, and it's sort of taken over my life a little bit.
I had a guy who wanted to do a mural in my big kiln in Maryland. I said, I don't want to clog up the kiln and fire this whole thing just for this little, for this big mural. I don't want to do that. So I said, I got a pile of bricks. I'm going to build a long tube and put a flat top on it, and we'll fire it, and then you can take your mural away and I'll knock down the kiln. But after I started to build it, I went out one evening and I looked at it and I thought, you know, this would be really cool with a little arch on top. And I thought, wow, I'll do that, and we'll fire the mural, and I'll figure out a way to hold little mini workshops with this kiln.
Typically a wood kiln might fire for 24 to 36 hours, quite a long process, and our kiln actually fires from start to finish in about 12 hours, and we get some really beautiful, incredible surfaces that would normally take 2 or 3 days to get in a regular wood kiln. And so the name Manabigama actually came from one of his, somebody who used to fire with him, and she was Japanese, and it was a beautiful little teaching kiln because it's ideal for teaching wood fire in a smaller setting.
This will help you go very far quickly in the wood firing world. And I have living proof of that, of many, many potters that have built it and now have fallen in love with it, and they swear by it. And I've had a lot of testimonial about it. Here we are 4 years later. It's been wonderful. It's really the best, absolutely the best studio I could ever ask for. There's no mountains, obviously, but I like the cornfields. You know, there's a lot to be said for this area. It's a beautiful area.
So initially we were just going to use the front half of the building, and we're looking for much smaller space, and we found this one, and it's kind of a unique space, and I like the idea that it's sort of a plain, ugly shell, but when you come in the inside, you get kind of a surprise of all of the art, and the lighting in here is really nice. It's a nice creative space. There are 1,000 different ways to make a pot. So for somebody that's just starting, like say if somebody came in and they just wanted to take a class with us, I usually start by teaching them pinch pot and coil methods, because those are some of the easiest and oldest methods. But pretty quickly, if somebody's interested in getting on the wheel, we teach them to get on the wheel. And first step is learning to center and open the pot, and usually start with tiny little cylinders and work your way up. After you make your pot, after you're done doing whatever you're going to do and you're happy with how your pot looks, you have to let it dry for a little while, and then we fire it one time, which is called the bisque firing, and that gets all of the water out of the pot and kind of gets it set. And then if you're going to apply glazes, at that point we would apply glazes to the pot, and then at that point it can be loaded into our wood kiln and fired for the second time.
My goals usually with these little kilns is to get it up to top temperature, soak it for an hour, and quit, because I only like a certain amount of natural ash on the piece.
You really have to let go of control a little bit and let the fire do what it's going to do to your piece. We have a lot of control based on where we put a piece in the kiln, and we know basically what's going to happen, but ultimately you're kind of turning it over to the processes of nature and fire.
The longer the firing, the more this stuff gets on the pottery. And the more the melt, and the more the crusty, and the more the rough. If you look at any of the pottery from the lawn firing, it's very, I have some samples here, it's very rough to the touch. But the aesthetic of it is appreciated.
Our work goes from tiny little miniatures to huge pieces and everything in between. And so I think the quality of work and the diversity of work and the fact that we're continuing a process that's really old and beautiful would be the things that I'm the proudest of. I think we're just a really high quality studio pottery that's producing diverse functional and sculptural work. We offer classes, we offer parties, and it's just an interesting place to come and experience pottery in a pretty relaxed setting.
Scenic Stops is brought to you by WBGU-TV. Support great local programming by giving now at wbgu.org/pledge.